got to give credit where credit is due. Everybody want to talk about how the church just takes, but this past Sunday, one church actually flipped the script. So while the government shut down, the kingdom actually stood up. You're not going to hear about this from a lot of places, but what happened in Dallas, it was powerful. Y'all know what time it is. Saints, stand up. The city's watching.
We walk different, kingdom in the soul, got the glow with it. Armor on heavy, but the robe fitted. Oil in my steps, so I slide through the pressure. Grip with the grace, every move is measured. This ain't hype, it's holy. Still riding clean, but my spirit stay low-key. Lying in my chest when the dark start pressing. Word in my mouth, that's a real loaded weapon. Not here for the likes or the clicks, I'm called. Fire in my bones, I can't fake with y'all. From the block to the booth, let the truth be known. Saints in the city, we don't stand alone.
What up, everybody? I'm your boy, Pastor Bryan, and welcome to Saints in the City. Check it out. If this is your first time here, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to hit that like button. Then I want you to hit that share button. And then I want you to become a part of our Sick With It family. That's right. Subscribe to be a part of the Saints in the City. Amen. Also known as the Sick With It. But check it out. This is a place where the Bible meets the block and purpose finds you in the process. Listen, y'all know how we do it now. On the other channels, what do the scriptures say? I'm always exposing these old lying, gullible preachers who just want this money. But you know what? I got to actually give some praise because we live in a time where the church catches heat every week. The pastor just wants your money, right? The church is full of scammers and showmen. Where was the church when people were hurting? But every now and then, y'all, God actually pulls back the curtain and reminds the world the church was never built on greed. It was built on grace. You know, while these politicians argued, while the government was shut down, man, one church stood up, not just with a sermon, not just with a hashtag, not just with thoughts and prayers. They showed up with $2,000 checks for every federal worker in their community struggling to make ends meet. That's right, y'all. A church in Dallas gave out over $400,000 to TSA workers, Social Security employees, moms and dads who hadn't been paid in weeks. This ain't no prosperity stunt, y'all. This is biblical generosity. In fact, James 2:17 says faith without works is dead. Well, guess what? This faith was alive, and it showed up with receipts. So before you criticize the church, let's watch what happens when the kingdom actually takes the lead for a change.
Many federal workers are struggling to make ends meet with uncertainty around when they will receive their next paycheck. This past weekend, Dallas's Concord Church offered workers a helping hand. Fox 4's Stephen Dial has that story.
It appears an end is in sight when it comes to the federal government shutdown, but workers impacted by the shutdown still have to pay their bills right now. Sunday, here at Concord Church, they set aside $400,000 to give individual gifts to furloughed members like TSA workers and Social Security workers to help them get by until they get paid again.
Would you grab your belongings and meet me here? Don't be shy.
Federal workers who have gone without pay for more than a month were asked to come to the altar Sunday at Concord Church.
We've been praying for you all week long. Since you turned in your prayer request, we've been praying for you.
Last week, Pastor Bryan Carter asked workers to sign up to be added to the prayer list. While the list was used for prayer, it was really to identify how many federal workers needed help during the shutdown.
That is smart. I like how he did that. You know, he said, hey, who needs prayer? Right? Put you on the prayer list, not knowing, hey, man, we about to bless you. I love how he did that. Because if you tell people, hey, we're going to pay your bills, man, everybody in that church hand would have went up, right? I love it because these are people who are truly in need and you need prayer. And man, that is so beautiful because some people could have been praying for just peace, could have been praying for help, right? Could have been praying for just God's guidance during these tough, difficult times of not having income. Amen. So I love it because it showed their heart. But how many of your churches or how many churches do you know gonna set aside $400,000 to help folks. Yeah, ain't too many gonna do that.
200 people signed up. What happened next shocked them all.
So each one of you will get $2,000 to help you with your mortgage, with your utilities, with food. As you go through this season, we want you to know your church loves you.
Dimitri Drayden has been a member of Concord and has worked for the federal government for 41 years.
I have seen plenty of shutdowns.
Never this long.
Never this long and never this detrimental.
The church collected $400,000. Some of those funds came from large donations.
There's nothing wrong with prayers, but there are moments when God gives you the resources or provides the resources, like he did in this case, to be able to answer their prayers and to really help people.
At a reception after service, the federal workers received their checks and other resources to help them until they get paid again.
I actually deposited this morning, and I took some of it to put in another account to pay my car note. It's going to help me as far as part of my mortgage.
Keelan Jones is a TSA agent. He had no idea his wife put him on the prayer list. He came to the church when he got off work at Love Field.
Ain't that something? Women always looking out for they. Ain't that something? That's a good wife. Put her husband on the prayer list. Keep my husband in prayer. I'm sure that's all what she was thinking. Keep my husband in prayer. He probably loves his job. He's not getting compensated. He's the head of the house. Keep my husband in prayer. That's a strong woman. That's a good woman. A man who finds a wife finds a good thing. Amen. That is beautiful.
Cool. I'm not gonna lie, because I mean the essentials of money are very much needed, to live our daily lives. But I mean it's not everything. I rely on my faith on God and Jesus Christ, of course, because whatever he takes away, he's gonna get back in tenfold.
Carter says while his announcement is getting the spotlight, he wants the public to know giving back to the community is something many churches are doing.
Every day this is happening. This happened for us in this moment, but it's happening every single day by churches doing good work, many times when it's not even seen. And so this is what the church does.
Pastor Carter also told me that the church's food pantry, Harmony CDC, last week alone fed 400 families. He said that's the amount of families that they would feed in a month. It just shows the sure impact of the government shutdown when it comes to SNAP benefits and others. In Dallas, Stephen Dial, Fox 4 News.
Now listen, I seen it say tithes and offering. We don't believe in no tithe paying over here. This ain't about that. However, I'm glad to see that there is a pastor, there is a church, a congregation actually doing something good with the money they're getting. Amen. That's something good. Now, we don't believe in no tithes, but it's good to know that they're helping the community, which is what a lot of these churches should. How many churches are doing stuff like that? You got some people, when they call churches, asking for help. Even if it's, hey, can you help me pay a light bill? Can you help me get some baby formula? They're going to give you a whole questionnaire as if you're applying for a federal job. It's ridiculous. These guys, this church took $400,000. You heard what I said? $400,000. That's a lot of money. And gave each family or each person $2,000. Listen to me, saints. That's what it looks like when the church becomes the kingdom in motion. Not waiting on Washington, not begging Pharaoh, just being the hands and feet of Jesus for real. Proverbs 19:17 says, whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his deed. Concord Church didn't just give, they lent to the Lord, and you better believe he repays it with overflow. You see, generosity ain't about what you have, it's about what you release. And when the church stops clutching and starts pouring, whole cities will start to shift. The early church, they didn't just preach the gospel, y'all. They sold their possessions and they gave to anyone who had need. That's the Bible. That wasn't socialism. That was spirit-led sacrifice. And that's what we just literally witnessed. So here's my challenge to every pastor watching this, don't just build crowds, build actual communities. To every church, don't just host conferences, meet crisis. And to every believer, don't just talk kingdom, y'all live it. Imagine if your church became the first call, not the last resort. Imagine if the people of God were known not for scandals, but for supernatural solutions. Saints, this is our moment. Don't fold, don't flinch, don't wait for somebody else. Be the move of God, because the world's loud, but the saints still gotta see. This is Saints in the City, where we don't fold, we fight different.
This ain't hype, it's holy. Still riding clean, but my spirit stay low-key. Lying in my chest when the dark start pressing.